All right. Before we get started, oh, hello. Before we get started, you need to make sure that you have a paper and pencil or a whiteboard and expo pen because we will be using those today. So if you do not have those, please pause the video and go get those now. So today's warm-up is going to be a little different because we're going to, just like last week, we're going to practice counting. So we're going to start with counting by tens. So let's do that together. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Now let's count by fives. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100. Now I want you to count from 1 to 100. And you're going to need to pause the video here because that takes a while. And then if you can, do it near somebody, like an adult, so that they can check you. Because sometimes we make mistakes and we skip a number, and it's important that you don't skip numbers when you count. So pause the video here. It's the two lines in the circle. Now. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is a quick image. So I'm going to show you it fast. Your job is to count it. Get ready. How many? How'd you see it? Good. So on here, maybe you knew this was 5 because this is the 5 you see on dice usually. So you probably went 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Or maybe you were even faster and you went 5, and then you knew these were 2 and 2. 2 and 2 makes 4. So 5 and 4. 5 and 4 make 9. You could even use your fingers to make that fast. 5 and 4, 4, 9. Nice work. Okay, so now we're going to get started with our math today. All right, so last week we were working on place value. And for some of it, I used these. These are 10 sticks. They're called 10 sticks because there's 10 cubes on them. And then I have these 1 cubes to go along with it. So I'm going to show you some numbers on here, and your job is to tell what number it is. So I'm going to lower it. We'll do an easy one to warm up. What number is that? That's an easy warm-up one. So 10, 20, 21. You always count the tens first because they're the biggest. And if you try to go 1, then you have to do some extra math. Like 1, oh, plus 10, oh, that's 11. And then plus 10 again, that's 21. It's a little trickier. So it's always best to count the tens first. So 10, 20, 21. And then how would you write 21? You can just say it out loud. So you write 21, 2, 1. That's 21. Let's do another one. This is a little bigger. Okay. Please count it now. All right. So remember, we start with the tens. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56. That's the tricky part when you go from tens to ones. That's why we practiced it so much with the straws and with the counters, because you got to get really good at that because you do this kind of counting all the time. Okay, here's another one. All right, can you count this one? Okay, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78. So this is 78. And how would you write that? You can hear it in it. 78. 70 means it would be 78. 78. We'll do one more. Okay. Please count this one now. $10, $20, $30, $40, $50, $60, $70, $80, $90, $91, $92, $93, $94, $95, $96, $97, $98, $99. How many more do we need to get to 100? 99, yes, it's 100. But if we add this, this is now a 10. So I'd have to take these off, put a 10 stick, because it's a group of 10 now. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Nice job. Okay, so now what I want you to do, this is a challenge for you. So I had you practice earlier just counting out loud, but today I want you to use some kind of material in your house to count by ones. So I think if you remember in our classroom we did the counting collections where you would count a bunch of something. I want you to find something that you have a lot of that you can count, because it's important to practice counting objects, because eventually you'll use that all the time, and then you'll use it for like counting money and stuff like that. So it's very important to know that, and it's going to help you a lot all the way through high school. So I want you to find something that you have a lot of. Maybe that's like Legos, maybe you have a bunch of like paper clips, something that there's a bunch of somewhere, and you can count it. When you're counting it, try to make groups of 10, like this. So if I was counting these little cubes, I would want to use them to make groups of 10, like this. So I would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And it could be a line. I could push them close together, or I could just clump them like this. See? But if I'm counting another one, I want to make sure I'm not getting these too close, because now it's too close and I can't see my 10 anymore. So then I would need to put this one, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, a little farther away from that one. So now I have 10, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. Putting them in tens makes it easier to count the whole thing later. Or you can just have it be a big clump and count it. You can do either, but I would suggest doing the tens because that's more practical in the long run. All right. Great job today. I want you to do two things. Two things you have a bunch of. It's okay if the number's not that big. It's just good to practice, because a lot of times when you are counting things, the number isn't that big. Sometimes it's very big, sometimes it's not. So if you can find something you have a lot of and maybe something you don't have as much of, that's great. All right, good job today.